Hey guys and girls, welcome back to my channel The Tarot of Salem. Today we're going to look at the week from September 8th to 14th, okay? These will be short messages for each of you. So, let's start with Aries, so week from September 8th to 14th. What's in store for Aries? Let's open with the wheel. Very good, strength, an 8 of cups, and at the bottom we have an ace of swords. So, Aries, this week for you or for many of you could really be a turning point because something is moving, something that could change direction. And we're not talking about a trivial change. It's a bit like life is putting a new possibility in front of you, maybe something you don't expect, but in any case it's perfectly aligned with what you're ready to experience. It might not be all under control, but you need to know that this will be a time to trust the flow of things. Okay? I see great inner strength in you. Even though there may be times when you feel challenged, you will have the ability to face these moments calmly and with dignity, without running the risk of slipping into impulsive reactions. You may find yourself in a situation where you have to manage something or someone who is trying to provoke you, but you will be able to do it in a very, very elegant way, and this will somehow make you feel even more in control of yourself. On an emotional level, I see a small detachment coming, perhaps not so much because of coldness, but because of wisdom, maturity, as if you were understanding that some things no longer nourish you and that therefore the time has come to let them go. It could be a bond, a habit, even a way of thinking. Okay? So, it may not be easy for everyone, but it will be something very liberating, and you, Aries, will do it very clearly and without anger, without resentment. I feel this very strongly. Finally, we have the Ace of Spades at the bottom that speaks to us of an incoming clarity. Therefore a truth that somehow makes its way, a thought that perhaps becomes clear, maybe even a decision, something that takes shape, as if you finally see things for what they really are, without deluding yourself. And it is precisely from there that you will be able to start moving more carefully, more precisely towards achieving what you want to obtain, what you desire. Okay? So Aries, do not resist change because this week asks you to have faith, to let go of what you no longer need, and above all to listen to that voice inside you that already knows what is right and what is not. So if you feel that something is closing, do not hold back, okay? And if you also have an intuition, follow it because it could be your guiding light. Okay, Aries, with this I leave you and send you a big hug. Bye. So, Taurus sign, let's see what's in store for you for the week from September 8th to 14th. Very good. Page of Swords, the Magician. What should Taurus, the Sun, expect? And at the bottom we have a 10 of Swords. So, Taurus, the feeling I get from this reading is quite clear. This coming week will be a bit like a mental and personal awakening for you. There is a real energy of rebirth, but very gentle and gradual, okay? It's a bit like you're coming out of a difficult period, maybe even painful for some, and a bright window finally opens in front of you. It seems to me that you, could receive information or news, things that will make you think. Moreover, information that could come from a young, direct person, maybe even a bit impulsive, or from a context where there is a lot of talking, observing, analyzing, so pay attention to the details. There could be something that at first seems trivial to you, but that could then turn out to be very important, so it's as if this week is asking you to be attentive, also to be, as awake and curious as possible, okay? But the most powerful part is that you have the tools to transform all this into something concrete. There is a really strong creative drive. So you could start a project, take control of a situation that seems stuck, or you could simply feel more in control of your life, okay? It's like you finally realize that you don't have to wait for things to change, but that you can change them yourself. And then again we have the light, we have the sun. This speaks to us of possible positive encounters, moments of joy, and for some people even of a reconciliation or a clarification that are truly good for the heart. So also consider that you could spend time with people who make you feel good. At the bottom we have this sort of closure, a clear closure, something that is ending or about to end. Remember Taurus, this is not a loss, but a liberation. Even if it hurt, even if it hurts, even if it left you a bit exhausted, tired, that's enough. It's something that needs to be closed, and this will give you space to start over, but properly. Okay, so Taurus, don't be afraid to be yourself, even if it means saying uncomfortable things, okay? Or distancing yourself from what no longer reflects you. You have a sharp mind, a strong will, and also a light inside that deserves to be seen. Okay? So this week asks you to choose yourself, to act, to speak, and to create, okay? And above all, Taurus, to never look back. Okay? With this, I'll leave you. I send you a big hug and I'll see you next time. Bye. Here we are, Geminis, for the week from September 8th to 14th. Let's see what you can expect from this week. What's your message for this coming week? Let's see. Okay, we have a 4 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands, 7 of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, and at the bottom we have the Lovers. Okay. So, Gemini, this week for you is all about the line between protection and openness. Okay? I see that you are trying to maintain a balance, perhaps even defend something that you have worked hard to build. It could be a position, a bond, personal security. It's like proving yourself wrong. You are certainly right to do so because in any case you have probably reached a point where your stability really matters. But be careful not to close yourself off too much, also because that is the risk. In trying to protect yourself, you could miss opportunities that are coming, that could knock on your door. Okay? I see strong signs of recognition, moreover. So you could receive some appreciation, even a small victory, something that makes you feel valued, even some confirmation. So, something positive is coming your way, as if someone finally notices what you do and, above all, how much you are worth, and this will give you a boost of responsibility, because you will have to defend that position, therefore demonstrate that you deserve that new position which could be of any kind. Okay? So, we are not talking about an impossible challenge, but a moment in which it will be important to be determined and above all to be consistent with yourself. On a relational level 1, see a very solid female figure. It could be you or someone close to you who offers you concrete, practical support, okay? Maybe even advice that helps you refocus on your priorities. In any case, I see this female figure of great wisdom, by your side, but who is also in some way a bit of a beacon for you. So we have a week where heart and mind walk together. At the bottom we have a choice that most likely concerns a bond, a meeting or a decision that has to do with what you truly love. So Gemini, if I can give you some advice, don't be afraid to open up, okay? But do it with discernment, because not everything deserves your time, your energy, your heart, but some things do. And you will recognize that thing or that person, that possibility. So trust your instincts, but also your experience, because you are more ready than you think, and this week could also be the moment when you discover it. Okay, Gemini? So with this I'll close. I give you a big hug and I'll see you next time. Bye. Cancer sign. Here we are. Let's see the week from the 8th to the 14th for you. Let's see what message you need to get through. So for the sign of Cancer, the week from the 8th to the 14th of September. Let's see what the sign of Cancer needs to get through. 5 of Wands at the opening. So, you wanted to open up, and you too? Okay. 5 of Wands, the Star, a 5 of Cups, and at the bottom a Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So Cancer, this week for you will be a bit like crossing a bridge between tension and healing. Well, I see that you could find yourself in situations where energies clash a bit, so possible arguments, misunderstandings, maybe even small conflicts with people close to you. Okay, nothing dramatic, but enough to make you feel tired, frustrated, okay? As if there were a struggle between what you want and what others expect of you, but right in the middle of all this chaos a powerful glimmer of hope opens up. There is a light that guides you, a hope that you have not lost, even if at times it seems far away. So you could receive a signal, a gesture, or a moment of clarity could arrive that makes you say, okay, I can do it, and that will be the moment that will set everything back in motion. Okay? Emotionally, you will have to deal with something that has hurt you a bit. It could be a recent disappointment, a memory that resurfaces, but I don't see it as an obstacle, okay? I see it a bit like a cleansing, so it's a bit like your heart is freeing itself from what is no longer useful. Even if there will be a bit of melancholy, it will be a sign that you are healing. Okay? At the bottom we have the Queen of Pentacles. We have a strong, stable, concrete figure. It could represent you or someone who supports you effectively, but silently, a bit in the shadows. Okay? It's someone who reminds you who you are, what you deserve, that you can build something solid even starting from a week, well, a bit complicated like this one. So, Cancer, if I can give you some advice, I would say don't try to avoid confrontation, but try to choose where to put your energy. Don't let a disappointment make you forget who you are, your light. Inside you have a calm strength, a wisdom, a practical wisdom that can guide you, so use it and you will see that even if the week starts a bit uphill, it will end with a new awareness. Okay? So with this I leave you, I give you a big hug and I'll see you next time. Bye. Here we are, Leo. Let's see your week from September 8th to 14th. Let's see what message you should get for the sign of Leo, week from September 8th to 14th. 7 of Cups at the beginning. What do we have for Leo? What message should Leo get? 9 of Swords, the Star, and at the bottom we have a 5 of Wands. So, Leo, I see this week as a bit of an inner journey for you, okay? I feel like you'll find yourself faced with many possibilities, many ideas, perhaps even many people or situations that stimulate you, but that risk confusing you, as if your mind were full of scenarios, okay? Some real, others imaginary, and this could generate a bit of anxiety, especially if you feel like you have to choose or decide something. Okay? So there will be times when you might feel overwhelmed, maybe at night, when your thoughts get a little louder, or in those moments when you wonder if you're doing the right thing. But I want to tell you something important, you're not alone. Even if you feel like you have no certainties, inside you there is a guide, there is a light that is leading you exactly where you need to go, okay? And that light is your hope, your faith in something greater. MH. And also your ability to get back up every time you fall. You might still experience some tension, maybe some small differences of opinion at work, in the family, nothing serious, but something that could make you feel a bit at odds with other people. And the point is that this fight is not against others, but against your own fears, Leo. And if you can recognize that, everything changes, okay? So, what can I tell you? Don't look outside yourself for answers, or at least not right away. Try to take the time to understand what you really want beyond expectations, pressures, and illusions, because not all that glitters is gold, okay? And this, Leo, you know it well, but there is also something that is truly gold, and you will recognize it only if you stop to listen, and if perhaps you feel the need to protect yourself, do so, but do not close yourself off. Okay? This week is asking you to choose with your heart, but also with clarity, and you will have both of these potentials. Okay, Leo, with this I leave you. I wish you the best of luck and I'll see you next time. Bye. Week the 8th to the 14th of September for the sign of Virgo. Let's see what message you should get. Virgo sign, for the week from the 8th to the 14th. Let's see what you need to know. 4 of Cups at the beginning. What does Virgo need to know for these upcoming weeks? 5 of Wands. What does Virgo need to know for these upcoming weeks? The Magician, and at the bottom we have a Page of Swords. So, this week could be a bit eventful for you. But I also see it as full of potential, so you could start out feeling a bit emotionally tired, as if something no longer excites you, or as if you were waiting for something different to happen, even without knowing what. Okay? It's a bit like that type of energy where you risk getting stuck, staying still, even if you feel deep down that something needs to change. In fact, change is coming. There will be situations that will put you to the test, even small conflicts, tensions, or simply the feeling of having to defend your ideas, your space. So it won't always be something comfortable, but it will be something necessary, as if life were telling you, do you want something new? Okay, so move, react, create, and this is where the best part of your life comes into play. Because you have the power to transform all of this, you have the ability to take control of the situation, to use your resources, your ideas, your creativity to change course. So you are no longer at the mercy of events, you are the one who can decide how to deal with them, and if you do so with clarity, you can really turn your life around. At the bottom we have the Page of Swords. Is a very strong mental push. You could receive news, a message, or you could have an intuition that makes you see things from another perspective, as if something stimulated you to observe better, to understand more and not to settle for appearances. Okay? So, Virgo, I would say do not get stuck. If you feel that something bores you, irritates you, or blocks you, it is a sign that you need to move, you need to act. Okay? Use your intelligence, your curiosity, and above all your ability to create. You have this potential. So this week asks you to be the protagonist, not a spectator. You have everything you need to do it, so it is important that you are able to recognize this. Okay, Virgo? Well, with this I will close. I give you a big hug and I will see you next time. Bye. Libra sign. Here we go. Let's see what message you should get for the week from September 8th to 14th. What's the message for the sign of Libra? 7 of Wands at the beginning. The Fool, very good, and an Ace of Swords. At the bottom we have a 4 of Cups. Okay, Libra. The coming week seems to have a bit of a particular energy, as if life is preparing you for a little leap into the void, okay? But with a precise direction. So I can't tell you that it will be a very quiet week, but it will certainly be stimulating, full of opportunities to put yourself out there and assert who you are. So I feel that you could find yourself in situations where you will have to defend your ideas, your space, or even your way of being. It won't be easy for some, but it will be something very important. It's a bit like the tarot cards telling you not to give up, not to let your guard down, even if there are doubts or pressures around you. And it is precisely in the midst of this tension that a new, almost crazy push arrives, something or someone that could surprise you, taking you out of your usual patterns, okay? And even making you want to take risks. So it could be an unexpected encounter, or an opportunity that you hadn't considered, or even just an idea that ignites you inside. Okay? And that's when you have the courage to follow it. A door could open, a mental door first of all, as if you were finally seeing things clearly, as if a thought were making its way to you and telling you, here, this is what I want, what I desire. However, Libra, be careful because at the bottom we have the 4 of Cups, we have tiredness, boredom, that already seen, already experienced that could make you lose your enthusiasm. You could risk not noticing what is being offered to you, and therefore letting something important slip away just because it doesn't seem brilliant or interesting at first. Okay? So, if I can give you some advice, don't take anything for granted. If there's something that provokes you, that stimulates you, that makes you want to change course, okay? Follow it, even if you don't know where it will take you. This week is asking you for that little bit of madness, that little bit of courage, and if you can hold all this together, you could really start something new but beautiful, in line with what you're truly desiring. Okay, Libra, so with this I'll leave you. I give you a big hug and I'll see you next time. Hello, Scorpio. Here we are. Let's see what your message will be for the week from September 8th to 14th. Let's see what's in store for Scorpio. Death, the Magician. What should Scorpio expect for this coming week? What's in store for Scorpio? Okay. Five of Cups, Page of Swords, and at the bottom we have a Four of Pentacles. Okay. I see a bit of a turning point, Scorpio. I'm not talking about something dramatic, but I see a bit of a necessary closure, something that you've been dragging around for too long, but that no longer gives you anything. So, a situation that could find its closure, its end, even if at first it might seem destabilizing. But know that in reality it is a liberation, it is making space for something new, something that you can finally create according to your needs, your desires. I see an enormous creative force inside you and this week invites you to use it, so don't wait for others to decide for you, don't stay stuck in what has been. You will have all the tools to start over, but you have to really want it. And this is where the most delicate part comes into play, because a form of melancholy, regret, even the temptation to look back could take over. Okay? It's normal, Scorpio, okay? But don't let it block you because there is much more in front of you than you can see. So, this week will be a tough one. You might also receive news, a message or a conversation that makes you think. Someone might ask you an uncomfortable question or you might observe something that makes you change your perspective, so you will have a fairly active mind, but also a bit sharp, so try not to react impulsively. Listen, observe and then choose and then decide. Okay? Let's avoid unnecessary conflicts. At the bottom we have the energy of closure, of protection, so as if you were trying to keep everything under control or not to lose what you have. But sometimes in order to truly receive you have to let go. So the risk is precisely that of holding on too much and not opening up to the new for fear of losing what you have. Okay? So, what is my advice for you? Accept change. As a threat, but as an opportunity. Let go of what you no longer need, even if it has been with you for many years, for many months, whatever it is. Instead, think about taking action, creating. You have the energy of the magician, explore, you have a week ahead that could be the beginning of something much more authentic. Okay? But only, Scorpio, if you are willing to make space. So with this I leave you, I give you a big hug and I'll see you next time. Bye. Sagittarius sign. Let's see what awaits you for the coming week, so from September 8th to 14th. Let's see what's in store for Sagittarius for the coming week. Five of Wands, Ace of Spades. What's the message for you, Sagittarius? Seven of Wands, Three of Wands, and at the bottom we have an Eight of Pentacles. So, Sagittarius, I see a rather intense week, but also very constructive. There will definitely be some movement, some discussion. I also see a great push to clarify ideas, as if you were in a phase in which you can no longer postpone, in which you have to take a stand, you have to say what you think, and above all you have to defend what you believe in. You could find yourself in situations where there is a clash of opinions, perhaps at work, in the family, or even in a personal context. Well, I'm not necessarily talking about arguments, but moments in which it will be important to assert your vision, okay? And the great thing is that you will do it in a very clear-headed way. You have a great mental clarity that allows you to cut out the superfluous and get straight to the point, and this will give you strength. Even if, well, there is someone who could put you to the test. I also see a strong energy of expansion, as if you were looking beyond, planning something, imagining new scenarios. You could have the opportunity to start building something concrete, perhaps linked to a project or a collaboration, okay? Even a personal change, it won't be something immediate, you will have to work on it, but the seeds you plant now could bear important fruit tomorrow. Okay? At the bottom we have, an Eight of Pentacles that tells you have worked well, you have committed yourself, you have been consistent. Okay, now is the time to reap the rewards, but you have to keep putting energy into it. Okay? So, Sagittarius, this week you could find yourself facing a confrontation. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and keep going. If you feel it's time to defend your dream, do it, and above all don't stop building. Even if the road is tiring, you are on the right path. So this week asks you to have courage, to maintain your vision and discipline, and you will have all the strength to face it. Okay, Sagittarius? So with this I leave you, I give you a big hug, and I'll see you next time. Hello, here we are, Capricorn. Let's see what your message is for the week from September 8th to 14th. Let's see what Capricorn has to expect for the coming week. Let's see what's in store for Capricorn. September 8th, 14th. We open with the King of Pentacles. Very good, let's see more. Empress and the Fool. Okay. At the bottom we have the Lovers. So, Capricorn, this is a really powerful week, as if you were entering a phase where you can finally combine practicality and inspiration. So there is a part of stability, of security, even a certain maturity in the way you approach things, and then there is also a part where there is a beautiful creative drive, almost explosive, something that invites you to dare, to think outside the box, to let yourself be surprised. Okay? So Capricorn, this week you could experience a very significant encounter or find yourself in a situation where your heart and mind speak to each other in a more sincere way. There is something moving on an emotional, relational level, but also on a personal level, so as if you were ready to take a new step, even if you don't know exactly where it might take you. So more than a leap into the void, I would say it is a leap within yourself, into what you truly desire. This week could also bring you to a choice that is not necessarily difficult, but an important one. One of those choices that ask you to be authentic, not to settle, to follow what makes you feel alive. And the great thing is that you have all the resources to do so because you are centered, you are fertile in ideas. We have the Empress and you have a great desire for freedom that you can no longer ignore. Okay? At the bottom with the Lovers we have a clear message, which is to follow your heart in a trusting way. Moreover. Okay? So if you feel something that makes you vibrate, that calls you, that makes your heart beat faster than usual, do not ignore it, because there could be the key to opening a new door. Okay? So if I can give you some advice, do not hold back because this week invites you to live, to create and also to choose with courage. You do not necessarily need to have all the answers, but you just need to have the desire to discover, and right now you seem more ready than you think. Okay, Capricorn, so with this I leave you, I give you a big hug and I'll see you next time. Bye. Aquarius sign, here we are. Let's see what to expect for the week of September 8 to 14. What can Aquarius expect for the week of September 8 to 14? Okay, so 9 of Swords, 4 of Wands, Page of Swords, Page of Cups, and at the bottom we have a 10 of Swords. So, Aquarius, this week could start off a bit heavy, as if there were something tormenting you, okay? It could also be a recurring thought, or a worry that you've been carrying around for a while. It's a bit like you're closing an emotional cycle, so it can cause suffering, it can hurt, but it's something necessary. There's something that needs to be let go of, even if it's scary. But Aquarius, know that after that breaking point, a new space opens up. Okay? And it's right there, in the midst of this liberation, that a completely different new energy arrives. I see moments of lightheartedness, of sharing, for some, even of celebration, events. You could receive an invitation, take part in an event, or simply find yourself with people who make you feel good, as if life were telling you, you've done the hard work, now enjoy some light. Okay? So there are also signs of novelty. You could also meet someone who intrigues you, who stimulates you, who makes you want to explore. But we're not necessarily talking about love, but we're talking about a fresh, young connection that rekindles you inside and not just on an emotional level. Okay? We're also talking about a creative level, so you could have new ideas, a desire to start something, to get involved in a new way. Okay? At the bottom we have a 10 of Swords, we have a strong message, enough with that pain that you're carrying around. It's time to close, to turn the page, and not to let the past continue to influence your present. You've suffered enough already, now it's time to be reborn. So Aquarius, don't ignore what you feel, but don't let yourself be defined by what hurt you. Open yourself to new things, even if they still seem uncertain. Good things come silently, on tiptoe, but this week you could be surprised when you least expect it. So make room for lightheartedness, curiosity, and above all, hope. Because yes, Aquarius, you're ready even if you haven't realized it yet. Okay, So with this I'll leave you. I give you a big hug and I'll see you next time. Bye. Here we are, Pisces. Let's see what you have to expect for the week from September 8th to 14th. What do Pisces need to know? So, we have Death, the Nine of Swords, the Wheel, and at the bottom the High Priestess. Okay. So, Pisces, I'll tell you right away that this spread is quite intense, but also deeply transformative. So this week ahead of you could start a bit with a feeling of closure, as if something inside you is coming to an end. It doesn't necessarily have to be an external event, but it can also be an internal process, a way of thinking, a relationship, a dynamic that no longer belongs to you, and even if it can hurt, it is necessary. So it is time to let go. I therefore feel that you could experience moments of anxiety, have heavy thoughts, perhaps even sleepless nights, worries that keep you awake, but I want you to know that you are not at the mercy of all this. It is as if your mind is trying to process an important step. Even if it seems difficult, it is precisely the signal that you are changing skin. Okay? And in fact, then comes the movement, the wheel that brings a change of energy, a sudden turning point. Something could happen that really throws you off balance, okay? That forces you to look at things from another perspective. So it is not necessarily something easy, simple, but it will certainly be liberating, as if the universe were telling you, enough, enough, it is time to evolve. And you, even if you don't know it yet, Pisces, are ready. Okay. At the bottom we have the High Priestess, and this is your true power, so it means that you already have all the answers inside you. You have intuition, wisdom, the ability to listen to what cannot be seen. And this week asks you to trust yourself, not to look for answers outside, but to stay in touch with your deepest part. Okay, Pisces? So don't resist change, don't put up any resistance. If something ends, let it go. If something scares you, listen to it, but don't let it hold you back. And above all, take moments of silence, listening, and introspection. Your strength does not lie so much in reacting, in doing something, but in understanding. So this week could be the beginning of a new version of you, but only Pisces will have the courage to go through it. Let me know in the comments if you want how it goes. Okay? In the meantime, I'll leave you with this. I give you a big hug and I'll see you next time. Bye.